Hi there, welcome back to the Korg Studio. This is Rich Formidoni. Today I'm going to walk you through the effects in the microSAMPLER. There are 21 chaos-derived effects in here, and the way you can apply them to the sounds is very unique. So let's dig in and I'll show you what you can do. So as I mentioned, the microSAMPLER has 21 chaos-derived effects. So that means a lot of the effects come from our Chaos Pad series, and they are very, very cool. Now, to get into the effects, this button right here is your best friend. For each one of these samples, and I'm using the stock ROM samples that come with the microSAMPLER, you see that the effect switch is turned on. You can actually change that individually. So if I turn it off for this particular sample, and I go to a different one, I can see that it's turned on there. And I go back to the sample I was just at, and it's turned off. So individual control over the effects for each one of the 36 samples across the keyboard. Now, if I want to change the effect that I'm using, all I have to do is hold the Edit button and press the key labeled Effect Type. So right here I can see Effect Type on the screen, and right now it says Decimator. So as I'm playing, I can control the decimator. Just make sure the Edit button is turned off, and now these two dials on the right side are functioning as Effect Control 1 and Effect Control 2. So I'll just play a loop here and move the dials to use the decimator. So you can see it has a very dramatic, very cool effect there. You can take it all the way down to 4-bit and very, very low resolution, so it gives you a nice lo-fi, grungy kind of vibe. So the decimator is a lot of fun, and there are other effects as well. So if I go to the effects type, again, hold down Edit and press the key labeled Effect Type, I can use the second dial here, Value, to scroll through the different types of effects. So I've got delay, reverb, panning delay, modulation delay, chorus, vibrato, all kinds of very cool stuff, including a grain shifter, which is really killer. Let's check out the grain shifter. Press the Edit button again so it's unlit. So that's a very neat kind of effect. It takes a very small sample of the sound and loops it over and over again. Now, while we're looking at the topmost keys on the microSAMPLER, you can see that they're sectioned off into the effects section. And the next two options after effects type are Control 1 and Control 2. Now you notice while I'm tweaking the effects, I'm using these two dials here. These will modify what those two dials do. So if I hold down Edit and press the key labeled Control 1, I can actually modify that function. So now knob number 1 here, dial number 1 is going to control time ratio instead of LFO, which is what it was controlling before. Now also, if I go to Effect Parameter, I can go through even more settings than the two controls that I'm assigning to the dials there. So as I scroll through here, I can see that I'm modifying a dry-wet mix, and if I use the upper dial, I can scroll through the different parameters that are involved in the grain shifter. So if I switch to a different type of effect, for example, a flanger, and then I go to Effects Parameter and use the top dial, modulation depth, feedback, phase. So there are many more than just two controls to modify, and that effects parameter setting here will allow you to get to all of those different controls at once. Now, the effects are also useful while you're sampling. So if you've got a sound coming in, you can actually use the effects on input. So again, I've got my trusty K-oscillator here, and we'll just grab a little sound from it. I'll choose a key, and we will sample over top of that. And we'll use the effects. Now to do that, I'm going to hold down the Edit button and press the key that's labeled FX Position. Now here, I've got it set to Master Effects. If I use the value dial, I can change that to Audio In. So now the effects are going to modify what's happening coming into the audio inputs. And I can hear my flanger taking effect there. Let's go back to the decimator. Reverb, there we go, decimator. and we're going to sample using that sound running through the effect. And you can see the effect switch is off. It's not on for that key. So the effect has been sampled, and we can use the internal effects for something else. So for example, if we wanted to add some reverb to that sound that's already been decimated, we go to Edit and Effects Type, and let's get to the reverb. There we go. Turn the effect switch on. So through some clever maneuvers here, you can use multiple effects on a single sample. Now, as a final note, when you save a bank, it'll save the effect presets along with it. So the next time you call up that bank, the effect switch will be on for the appropriate samples that you set it to be on before, and the right effect will be called up. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.